In 1794, deep in the Saint-Germain district of Paris, three unassuming visitors knocked on a certain lady's door. On the surface, they were like any other client, seeking to have their fortunes told. But as the woman, a Madame Lenormand, shuffled her cards, she saw a future that shocked even her. A prophecy of blood and empire. Marie-Anne Adelaide Lenormand was born in 1772 in Alençon. She was the illegitimate daughter of a wealthy merchant. Worse still, she was born with physical deformities, uneven shoulders and legs of different lengths, which at the time were considered an ill omen. Yet, despite her physical imperfections, from a young age she displayed a startling intelligence and a unique gift. While just a child, she began to see the future. Local stories tell of how she accurately predicted the theft of a bolt of cloth from her father's shop, even identifying the thief. These early miracles earned her the neighborhood moniker of the Little Sorceress.
After her father's death, she was sent to a Benedictine convent to receive an education.
But her gifts were not to be buried within the convent walls. Instead, they found a crucial stage. The abbess of the convent was due to be replaced, and conventional wisdom held that a nun from a prominent family would be her successor. Young Lenormand, however, publicly predicted that the position would go to an obscure nun from a distant province. A few months later, her prediction came to pass. The event sent shockwaves of awe and fear through the convent. She was expelled from the convent because of excessive panic. Cast out and alone, Lenormand made her way to Paris. There, she discovered a much wider world of mysticism and the occult. She studied the art of tarot reading under a famous cartomancer known as Etea. At the same time, she voraciously devoured books, teaching herself astronomy, algebra, and various folk divination techniques. She synthesized this knowledge with her own intuition, creating a unique interpretive system all her own. At just 18 years of age, Lenormand and a friend opened her first salon on the Rue Saint-Honoré. Thanks to her astounding accuracy and unique charisma, her fame spread through Paris like wildfire, and that fame soon brought a flood of clients to her door, including the three guests mentioned at the beginning. Turning to her first visitor, Lenormand studied the cards and spoke with a grave expression.
"Madam, you need not fear for your life. On the contrary, you will soon marry a man who will make you the Empress of France."
To the second guest, she foretold.
"Sir, you hold great power, but it will slip through your fingers like sand."
The third visitor was a young artillery officer. As she looked at his cards, she fell silent for a long moment. Then, in a trembling voice, she spoke.
Your future is one of fire and the sword. You will rise over mountains of the dead to become Emperor of France. Your name will echo across all of Europe.
When Napoleon was crowned emperor and Josephine his empress, Mademoiselle Lenormand's prophecies were proven astonishingly true. Her reputation soared to its zenith, making her one of the most influential figures not just in Paris, but in all of Europe. Her client list was a roll call of the era's most powerful names, and even Tsar Alexander I of Russia. Her drawing room became an unofficial crossroads of European political intelligence. At the same time, she became the Empress Josephine's most trusted advisor and confidant. Josephine would visit her in secret, seeking counsel on Napoleon's military campaigns, political intrigues, and even the emperor's affections. The orphan from Normandy had truly transcended the confines of her birth. But beneath this glittering success, dangerous currents were stirring. She knew too much. Napoleon himself had a complex relationship with Mals Lenormand. On one hand, he seemed to respect her abilities. On the other, as a ruler who governed by logic and sheer force of will, he could not abide a sorceress, influencing politics. Lenormand was arrested several times throughout her life, The most famous incident occurred in 1809, after she told Josephine that Napoleon's invasion of Russia would end in catastrophic failure. The prediction enraged the emperor, who had her thrown in prison. As she wrote in her memoirs,
Who could imagine me in prison? Me, Lenormand, the Sibyl of our age, the celebrated prophetess. Yet, nothing could be more true.
in the decades that followed, she lived to see every one of her major prophecies fulfilled. Napoleon's divorce, the disastrous Russian campaign, the defeat at Waterloo, the restoration of the Bourbon monarchy. After the fall of Napoleon's empire, she continued her work in Paris until the age of 71. In 1843, she died peacefully in her bed. And so, the curtain fell on the life of Lenormand, leaving behind a trail of verified prophecies and unsolved mysteries. But looking back on her life, a deeper, more chilling question emerges. She always revealed the full results of her prophecies, even knowing that doing so might lead to her imprisonment. She could have chosen to remain silent, or used auspicious lies to trade for the emperor's smile and her own safety, but she did not choose to do so. Perhaps a person who has seen the arc of so many lives comes to view worldly power, wealth, and honor with a profound detachment. In her eyes, even an emperor was but a single, vital piece on the vast chessboard of destiny, fated to be played and eventually removed. His empire, his glory, all were just fleeting chapters in a far grander narrative. Her bluntness did not come from cruelty, but rather from an absolute reverence for the laws of destiny.